Hi! So it's really hot today. I got my baby fan. So we're gonna be painting the eyes for the fursuit head, which is of course blocked by my mic here. This one. So we need to paint these eye meshes. So I'm gonna take one of these out. So the way that these work is, there we go. Hey, Della, how you doing? It is so hot. I'm just dying over here. So the way that these work is, this eye white happens to be 3D printed, but yours might be foam or something. Either is fine. But this center section has to be able, you have to be able to see through it. It has to be visible. So that's why we use mesh instead of just completely blocking it off. Look! Thank you, Phil. I'm good, Della. Other than being hot. I mean, I'm gonna keep complaining about it, but I don't like it. I got my fan here and it's just not enough. And it's not dark out yet. It's like, if I open the window, it'll just get hotter, so... Alright, so this is my little bucket. Okay, my big bucket kind of meshes. This is kind of where I just keep all my eye supplies. So, I've got this black mesh here. I think this one, yeah, this one was Buckram that was painted black, and it came black like this from fursuitsupplies.com, which is helpful. Hey Renn, how you doing? We are painting. I have like a time limit today, but I am just bound and determined to get these eyes painted because I got all my paint stuff out and I'm all excited. I'm ready to go. Alright, so this is like some meshes. This is like a needlepoint mesh. And the reason I have this is because I wanted to try it, and it's good to like hold structure in certain art projects, but for the most part, this is not helpful to us. It's too thick. It doesn't paint well. This is like a size 10 mesh, so it's a bit thick. Okay. Is my audio still jank? Because I had to rehook up my entire audio rig because it was completely jacked from last stream, you might remember. Hello, new person! I can't read that, unfortunately, but... Timing you now. Thanks, Phil. What the heck, why? Is it doable, or is it something I should probably stop the stream for? Because that's... Mike, you naughty Mike! Why it be like that? I wish I could hear it for myself. It's passable. Oh, God. Why is it like that? Okay. How about now? That's so weird. Okay, that works. That's so weird. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, I could try to re-plug it in, but it took me a while just to get it going in the first place. I guess I could use my other mic. Alright, hang on. The basket of goodies has to wait just a second. Alright, let's try this guy. Okay, testing. Oh, I figured it out. Okay, that's fine. So, it's still labeled as my Yeti mic, but the thing is, it wasn't using my Yeti mic. It's using my...
Don't stop on my face like that. That's terrible. Camera? Oh. All right. Yep, this is the stream of struggling, I guess, cuz this is
super quiet. Can you guys hear? Oh, and the camera is down. Camera? What did I do to deserve this? Oh my gosh. Alright, thank you for the updates so I know what's going on. There we go, okay. Alright, is it... Can you guys hear? Is it still too low? Testing. Testing. Okay, that might be the best I can get right now. Okay, please work. Okay, I think we're good. Now, can I turn on the fan without it making too much noise? Because it is just hot. You paint those eyes. Yeah, finally. Alright, thank you everybody for helping me figure that out. What the heck? Alright, so the rest of the stuff I have my bucket of goodies here is just the rest of my eye stuff. So I've got this thick felt. It's pretty sturdy stuff. You can see how it wobbles. It's not like flopping right over. And that's what I like to use for like the eyelashes around the edge. Here's one that I already have cut out, and the paper is like the pattern that I made for it. Honestly, it just goes right on top like this. So that's one nice thing about having the eye shape the same with a few different suits, is that you can make the pattern for the mesh and for the eyelashes. Oh, do you want to see my first ever eyes? It's my first ever eyes that I ever made. Obviously, I didn't use these in a fursuit, but I was just trying to figure out what to do. Oh my gosh. It's so crude now, but that's just funny, I think. Yeah, these are made out of foamies and regular Buckram fabric that I painted. But yeah, it's pretty funny. What am I looking for? This is what I'm looking for. So, there's this one kind of mesh that I use, the main mesh that I use. So let me show you that. Hang on. Here we go. I'm gonna get one with the label so you can see the label. This is it just went discontinued at Joann's, so hopefully we don't have too much trouble finding it, but thankfully Fursuit Supplies has just started selling more meshes like these, and they're very good, so even if you can't find it in a store near you, at least you can order it, so at least it's not completely hopeless. There is hope. Well, this is the black buckram from Fursuit Supplies. It's pretty nice because you do have to have the back side black, so you don't have to paint both sides with this one, and that's nice. However, I find that you can't get it as vibrant as the other option here, and that's why this is my favorite option. The vinyl Ida? I don't know how to pronounce it. I keep wanting to say Adia, but I know that's not it, because there's a song. Anyways, there's a song that says Adia. That's pretty old school. I Google translated what that person said before and said, hey, I'm okay. Interesting. I didn't even know that was a language. I just thought it was weirdness. I don't know, but that's cool. Thank you for testing to make sure the stream stays clean, even if we don't understand it. Oh, thank you. I love Scar. I love him so much. He's just such a good villain. And he's an INTJ like me. Alright, so this is what you want to use. It's in Needlecraft area of stores. And it's exactly what you would expect. It's just a mesh, except the difference is this one is not fabric, it's vinyl. It has to be vinyl because vinyl means it's plasticky. And that means it's waterproof. So that's what you're after. You need the vinyl one. And usually there's a whole section of a whole ton of them, and then there's only one that's vinyl, and it's this one. So that's kind of important. So here's one that's already open. I don't want to keep opening new ones. Let me hold it up one more time so you can see. this is like a really nice mesh. It's kind of, it's something that you can sand if you would like. Yeah, most villains are INTJs. Almost all of them. And I think that's amazing. Because I'm evil. Okay, so here's our eye. And if you slap it right on there, you get an idea. An idea, if you will. That's what it will look like. So, if you have an eye, you can trace this with like a pencil and then like flip it over so you don't see that trace mark. And then cut out the circle. I don't need to trace it because I already have this pattern for this circle on the inside. Of course, I gotta dig it up, but give me just a second. Yeah, most villains are INTJs, and I love that. Alright, so this is my little bag of circles. Numa. Are you Lulu? I think you're Lulu, right? INFJ. Nice! Actually, you're very close to me. It's hard because as INTJs, we get annoyed so easily. Well, I mean, you're very close. You're very close, but I don't need those feeling things. Alright, so this is my little bag of circles that I've cut out. I also have like a... I better just pull it out so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh no, not my knees! Alright. So these, if you're only doing a few projects, probably too expensive. I mean, they're like $7 or so each. They're just little tracing circles. But they give you a perfect circle, and it does have measurements on there, so I use these all the time. So, I mean, you can use the bigger one. I mean, I use these for everything, including spots. Like, if you're making spots on your fursuit, or even just any projects I'm making, just constantly, I'm always using these things. So, I did use these to make my little patterns here. So what this one is like the little shine in the eye. And these bigger ones are like rings to make different like shapes, different blends. So this is something I've done to help myself out, is just kind of give myself some idea. Like this one, the exact eye size. So this should be the exact one I need. This one fits in here. So on the back, you want it to overhang just a little. Like, obviously, it needs glued on somewhere, so it can't be the exact size. It has to be slightly larger, and it'll go right on top here. So this is the one I'm going to start with. I'm going to trace onto the mesh with this one. So if you don't have a circle already cut out, you know, just put your eye on there and trace it with a pencil. Your INFP Avengers. So many INs today. I love that. That's kind of cool, Lulu. I used to have multiple names back when I used to roleplay more, but now it's just, I still do. Like Clover, Figby, and... God, what's my other one? I don't even remember. Caitlin, I guess? It's cold? What? I've got this fan, and I'm just dying. I can't believe that. Can you send me some of the cold? You change your name often. That's fine, as long as you're having fun, and as long as I can figure out who you are. Yeah, as long as you know who you are, too. Hey, Shaq, how you doing? Actually, I saw you say hi a few minutes ago, and I totally just blocked it out. For some reason, it didn't register. How you doing? You're also INFP. So many INs today. Oh, yeah. Lots of roleplay names. That adds up. Okay, so we got our mesh here. I'm gonna trace this with a pencil. I guess I don't even need to use a pencil. I could use a marker or a pen. But pencil is... I just like pencils. That way, like, I don't have to worry about it bleeding or anything. But, I mean, we're gonna cover with paint anyways, so it's probably fine if you wanted to use a Sharpie or something. Alright, I wouldn't blame you guys if you can't see this, because I can barely see it. Just this little pencil circle. Alright, so what we're actually gonna do is we're actually gonna cut out... I'm gonna stop saying actually. We're gonna cut out 4 eyes because a personal choice, I don't like to send out a fursuit without a pair of spare eyes. And that's just because, you know, when you wash your suit, maybe something happens and you drop something on it, it pokes the eye, it bends it, it gets scratched over time, you never know. So I always like to send my suits off with a set of spare eyes. And it's not really any skin off my back. I mean, it does take like maybe an extra half hour to 1 hour. No, it does take an hour at least. But it's worth it to me because if something happens to their eyes, it's an easy fix to kind of rip the old ones out, put the new ones in. It can really help them keep their costume lasting longer. Your Spotify. I'm sorry. I still don't use Spotify. I just use YouTube Music. Like, cringe, I know, right? Carla K, lurk! Thank you, my sister. She is lurking. Oh, Cindery! I didn't even see you there. Hey, how you doing? The paw. I don't think we ever discussed role-playing. My siblings are epic lurkers, right? Shock, I wish you could send me some of that. I would eat that. Alright, I'm actually gonna trace an extra pair here. Because, frankly, while I've got all this stuff out, Figby needs a new set of eyes. Let me show you. Let me show you what happens. Okay, I have Buckram Eyes on Figby. This is Vinyl Ida. It's not Buckram. Buckram is usually interfacing. It's supposed to be interfacing, which means, let's say you have a purse or something. Well, what keeps that purse standing up? What keeps it from flopping into a pile of fabric? Interfacing. So on the inside, between like the liner and the outside layer, the interfacing is just a structural, fabric-y kind of thing. And that's what Buckram is. It's just one of those types of interfacing. Although usually people use it for hats, I think. But this Buckram, I mean, this one happens to be black already. That is something I don't like as much. I don't like Buckram as much as the Ida. And the reason is, even if you're super careful and you waterproof it, according to my experience, it will warp anyways. So, I have never, ever, ever had the issues with warping with the vinyl yet. So, to me, even though you can use Buckram, my favorite is this vinyl stuff. So here's Figby's eyes. This is before I had a 3D printer. So his eyes are made out of foam. And it's kind of hard to tell, actually. I mean, I can feel it, like, easily, but it is quite warped. I'm not sure if I can even get a better angle of this. But the one thing about this Buckram is, I mean, I'll bring it really close here. You can get, like, a really nice, finely painted mesh. Like, you can't see the holes in this at all. But, of course, since it's more tightly woven, it's harder to see through. And, I mean, comparing it to this, like, you can actually see the holes right here as I'm holding it up. And looking at Figby's eye, it just looks completely solid. So that's another thing when you're trying to decide if you want to use Buckram or this vinyl Ida mesh. It's the holes are a little bit bigger, but in my experience, it's not worth it to have the eye mesh be this tightly woven because I can barely see out of it, and I always end up using his mouth anyways to look out. So, to me, if you use Buckram, use a more loosely woven one, like this one from fursuitsupplies.com. You can see through this one too. The other one I had was much too tight. It was too hard to see through. Either use a more loosely woven Buckram or use the vinyl Ida, and you should be good. Yeah, right. I used to roleplay Warriors. That was like the only thing I used to roleplay though. It was just Warriors. I remember I did do a Harry Potter roleplay once, but it was very short-lived because turns out I don't know much about Harry Potter. because I've only read the first few books, and that was years ago, so yeah, that didn't last long, but that's okay. It was still fun. Okay, Shaq, yeah, send a picture when you're done. Avengers used to go on the Bakugan community forums. That was a thing? Oh my gosh. I would have loved that. I love Bakugan. I loved and currently do love Bakugan. And I really wish at the time I knew there was a community forums, because I would have been all on that. Quit poking Figby in the eye. The boy. Warrior RPs are the best. Those, and RPs with my Furiosies. Yeah, I've never done an... Actually, I take it back. I once did do an RP with Figby, but that was a long time ago, and it was in college with my college buddies, and I hadn't figured out Figby's, personality yet, so he was just kind of lol, so funny, random, and yeah, that's not exactly what he is now, but at the time, it was just weird. It was kind of like an alternate universe of Figby, because he doesn't exist now, definitely. Not that kind of Figby. But it's funny, like, I finally did manage to lock down, like, a whole character for him. Wow, I sure wish this pencil was darker. I can barely see it. But the good thing is, I did trace... This traced circle is a little bit bigger than it's supposed to be, just because it's, it has to overhang a little, so it has something to glue onto. So, there we go. See? So the very, very, very edges doesn't matter that much, because you can't see it. And that's what this will look like. So let me hold it up so you can see through it. So, you might notice, wow, it's hard to see through. That's because we gotta paint one side, the inside black, so it's not as reflective, because the white reflects the light like crazy, so if we paint it black, it makes it much easier to see through. Haha, lol, rar, random. X3. Yeah, that was, like, sometimes once in a great while, I'll remember my, like, lingo from the Warrior Cats forums, and it's really weird. Oh, Lulu, that's funny. That sounds familiar, but the fact that you got everyone to do, like, a Warrior Cats roleplay with you in class is awesome. Oh, I didn't know, Avengers, I didn't know you were actually a current Bakugan fan. What? Okay, so I've been secretly working on a story in my head for a video game for a long, long time. And honestly, it's not the modeling part. That's the easy part for me, because that's what I learned in school and stuff. The hard part for me is coming up with a story and a world and characters. And that's something I've been working on for a while. And part of the world, it's come to my attention, reminds me a lot of Bakugan. So it's just funny that you brought up Bakugan, because it's just something that I was just thinking about lately. Am I even in the camera when I'm cutting this? Yeah, I am. That's shocking. Okay. Ah, I got something in my eye. No! I had to tie my hair back today because I didn't want to deal with it getting in the paint in my eyes and... You and your friends do that too? What? I remember... Oh, my brother will kill me for saying this. I remember I made him play Warriors with me when we were little. I let him win though. But he let me win too, so I guess it was kind of even. We have a really retro style house, and it's very 70s. So the like living room, there's like a living room and like a secondary living room, like a great room or something, I don't know. Anyways, it's got orange carpet, so we always just called it the orange room. Well, we used to play Warrior Cats in the orange room. We would crawl around and wrestle and yeah. Oh, he might kill me. He was really, really, really little though, so. Figma knows. Yeah, that's my mom. She's the Figma. That's why she's named my Fig. She's Figma. She's the Figma. Yeah, middle school was that time of lol, so funny. Anyway, what I'm gonna do with this info? It was yesterday. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. I'm gonna just tell everyone. By the way, man, I wonder if he would kill me or if he would be completely not caring at all. It'd be one or the other. You remember your sisters pretending to be cats at the neighborhood kid in our yard, and I thought they were weird. You mean you've never just wanted to pretend to be a cat? That's way more interesting than being a human. Humans are boring. That's really funny, I think. I think it's funny that multiple of us have played warriors in real life. Alright, I'm not gonna bother cutting out all of these. I really should just have cut out one. This will be my... I'll just do the one right now anyways. So, what I should do is sand this a little bit. If I could figure out where my sanding paper is. I've moved everything. Ugh, don't mind me, just in the camera right now. I think I had some sandpaper in here. I should. That's such a thing I would have. In fact, I know I've got some sandpaper somewhere. There it is. Okay, we're good, we're good. Ah, that one's not closing. That's nice. I will deal with that after the stream. Sad. You should get into warriors. There is no way he isn't a furry, especially now that I know that. Right. By the way, I know about your secret warrior cat IRL roleplays. The warrior cat's fan to furry pipeline is real. Right? I remember when I was younger and all the art was like, we all wanted to make furry warrior cats art, and we were just awful because we were all young. But now that we've all grown up, our furry and warrior cats art is actually really, really good. I mean, it's just funny how that happens. Alright, I'm not sure what grit to use here. I haven't done this in forever. So basically, I'm just gonna rough it up a little bit. Not gonna go crazy with it or anything. But a lot of things, if you want to glue or paint, a lot of them, it'll stick better if you've got somewhat of a rough surface. I don't think that one's strong enough, though. I'll get something slightly coarser. I mean, if you don't sandpaper it, it'll probably be fine, but just roughing it up a little will make it stick better. And that's good. Maybe that's why you're not a furry. It's because you didn't get into warriors, you fool. Alright. There we go. It feels tiny, a little bit scratched up. That's good. That's what we're going for. So normally... Darn. So normally I would run this underwater right now. Alright, probably what I'm gonna do is... Well, this is probably just gonna be my test eye. I'm probably gonna do the real ones off stream. That's usually what happens, unfortunately. But, if it ends up good, it'll be fine. But just know that your first eye may end up just being a test run, because usually mine is. But since I was doing some warm-up painting, this might not have to be a problem. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna have to get a little closer with the camera, though. Yeah, last summer, a group of us worked really hard to make our own brand new Warrior Cats Discord server. But the thing is, by the time we actually got it, like, up and moving, it was kind of nearing the end of summer, and then everyone got busy, and then we didn't roleplay all year, and now it's summer again, and I'm thinking, hey, it's time to revive this thing. It was really cool, too. It was like a whole desert roleplay, and people were coming up with like medicine cat things, like, oh, you can use this cactus flower for this or that, and different kinds of like prey, different. I mean, we have 5 clans, I think, because we couldn't stop. Yeah, the desert one. It's really cool. I mean, it's got a whole book of lore and everything. Like, sorry, my hands are kind of getting sweaty, so I'm kind of just chilling them for a second. Oh, I would love that, Della. I want to redesign my OC that I made for that. It was Owl Star or something. Let me see here. Okay, well, I brushed off some of the dusts, and let's paint. So, real quickly, I'm gonna need to see that reference. I'm pretty sure it's just red eyes, but, I never just do straight up one color. I always do some kind of gradient, because it makes it look more alive. So even if it's just red to red, it's just like a slightly different shade of red, and it'll look much better. Let me open up my Trello. Something that I probably need to update desperately. Yikes. Okay. You've been uploading a lot to your second channel the last couple of weeks. Nice! What have you been playing? It hasn't shown up in my feed. Of course, I haven't been looking for it either, so there's that. Cute. So this art looks like it's got a gradient too. And it's not gonna focus. There we go. So that's cute. Let me back up. Yeah, they both look like they have kind of gradients. That's fine, because that's what I'm gonna do too. But the original ref here is just red. So, we're gonna use that same red, that bright red, but slightly... Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna use the red. I'm just gonna use the regular red, and then I'm gonna darken it just a tad, because it's supposed to be more of like a blood red, and, yeah, so we'll make it just a little bit more dark and rich. How often do you update the Trello? Not often enough! It's basically just whenever I think about it. And I haven't thought about it in, like, weeks. So, I will try to do that today, if I remember. Okay, so here's our little bucket. I need my paintbrush. I just wish I was not toasty right now. I'm just so toasty. Alright. Oh, that's a lot of black. Didn't mean to spit out that much. So, something I've learned is just a tiny bit of black goes a long, long way. So, you gotta be really... There we go. Okay. So, we're gonna need black, like solid black, for the back of the eyes, and then... the front is obviously like the pretty side with the gradient and all that. So yeah, I just wanted to make this more of a deep, rich red, so that's why, like, I took my primary color red here and I'm adding the black just to make it the right shade. If you don't like mixing colors, you can just buy, like, the separate little tubes, like these guys, that are already, like, pre-colored. And that works too, but I find that when you actually get the paint out of the jar and into the thing and you look at it, it's, like, slightly off anyways, and you're gonna wanna, like... I always add something else anyways, because the color's never perfect to me. So, even if I picked out, like, oh, this is the perfect brown, and then I put it in the thing, and then I'm like, wait, it's a little too light. So, I always have my black and white around, and my primary colors, so I can change it up as I see fit. But hey, I mean, if just getting one of these and it's the perfect color for you, then that's awesome. Crimson red, yeah. I believe that's the right color. I don't think I can get any brighter than that, really. Yes. wondering if it's a little dark now. I might actually add a little bit more red. Thank you, Renn. It's like, I wish I could up the saturation, but it's just as saturated as I can get. Oh yeah, that's a little better. It was just a little, it's a hair too dark for my liking. Just a hair. Yeah, now that's good. I hope that's okay. Looks good to me. Of course, the color is just not great. Now that I have the lighting over here, hopefully it's a little better. Sorry, I was distracted. I didn't even check the chat in like 20 minutes. Mostly Fortnite with your family members because you had old footage you never edited. Oh, I've got so much footage I need to edit. I feel that. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of brush most of the paint off like the sides here so it doesn't like accidentally get everywhere. Okay, so moment of truth, right? So this part you want to very, very lightly brush because if you go too hard with too much paint, it will clog up the holes. And yes, you can use like a needle or something to like unclog it, but it just doesn't look as good. It just doesn't, it's like it still looks kind of clogged even after you unblock it. So let me bring this closer for you guys. Sorry. We're getting mighty close this time. This is probably the closest the camera has ever been to anything I've ever done. Slightly uncomfortable. It's kind of bizarre. So yeah, just put a little bit of paint on there and just kind of layer it up into it. Now the center of the eye is gonna be black, so you don't have to actually paint the entire center of the eye with your color. And if you're using this kind of mesh, the Ida, since it kind of has like a weave, you're gonna need to make sure you fill in all these tiny little, like bumps and grooves because it's gonna want to not fill in. If you're using Buckram, it'll be a little bit easier to fill in because it doesn't have any of this bumpies, but either way, whatever you use, just make sure that you do like at least 2 layers, I'd say. Okay, try to make it nice and thick, so it's not like if you don't do enough layers or if some of the white is showing, you don't want it to look splotchy. That's what I was trying to say. It's splotchy. That's what you don't want. So you're gonna have to just kind of be patient with it because you don't want to do tons of paint all at once. Just go slow, keep adding layers, and you might need to let it dry, so I'm gonna add a little bit more paint here and then I'm gonna let it dry. Because this is doing pretty good already. I'm just being careful to I'm trying my best to not get it in the holes. I don't want it to fill in the holes. That's the hardest part for me right now. Kind of takes like a light touch. It's hard to get it just right. Okay. So that's pretty good. Let me bring the light closer, actually. Now that I got the camera closer, I think I need the light closer. I've started to add drawings to illustrate some of the jokes in the videos. You're sort of animating by accident? That's amazing! That's fun! Alright, so that is pretty good. We got the red on there. I'm gonna add a little bit more on this side. Well, I know you like to do the drawings, Avengers, so I mean, I guess that's kind of the natural next step is trying animating. Oh, okay, here's something I wanted to mention before I forget about this. It's possible that your paint is just like really watery or really thick, and maybe it won't go on as nicely as mine. Like maybe it'll kind of like just seep through the holes no matter what you do. I mean, it's fine. it's just not ideal. And you can push out the holes after you're done with a needle. I mean, you could also, I mean, if it's too watery, you can wait for it to kind of dry up a little and then stir it. I guess that's what I would try at least, but alright, so I'm gonna work on the second eye right now. So I think I'm gonna get 2 layers of the red on there, and then I'm gonna do like the kind of gradient on there. So I guess since I got Renn in the chat, I'm not sure if she's listening or not. Renn, I'm gonna be doing like a slight gradient. Do you want it to be like red, like a slightly darker red, fading into like the regular red, or would you rather it be like kind of like your reference sheets where it's like almost like an orangish tone red, kind of blending in like a lighter shade? I mean, either works for me. I'm not sure if it matters to you. Because either way, it'll look nice, so. And even if you don't gradient blend it, it still would look nice. I should have painted my nails or something. Yeah, this is practically the perfect consistency right now. Like, it's not too drippy, but it's not too, like, clumpy. It's just, that's really lucky, because I've had times where I was painting eyes and it just was the worst. It wasn't working. It was bad. Of course, that paint might have been really old, so I don't know. I'm not sure if it makes a difference if the paint is old, but... Hello, Slenderman. How are you doing? I think my chat is not scrolled all the way down. It's being weird. There we go. We're just painting. Oh, Avengers, you can always get the chance later. And even though I learned a lot in animation school, there's a lot you can learn on your own too. Like a lot. Especially if you get like the right books. You can learn a lot on your own. Animation school was fine. It was fine. I think if you really want to learn animation, I think it is doable to do it on your own these days, but yeah, it is helpful to get like critique from your professors and stuff to help you get better. Doing well, just lurking and doing chainmail. Okay, it took me a second there. I was like, that's cool. That sounds fun. We should trade. I'll send you a pair of eyes. Actually, chainmail sounds way harder. That would take a lot longer than just a single pair of eyes. I think I've only ever done one art trade before, and it was just for a digital piece between me and Micah. And that was pretty cool because I've never done that before. No, it wasn't digital. It was a tail. Yeah, we made each other a tail. And she even designed me a whole character to go with it, so that was really cool. Oop, it's moving. Alright. So here we go. I can actually see a spot right here. It's hard to see. Oop, right there. That I'm gonna have to puncture out after, and that's okay. Alright, so I did 2 layers on that one. I'll do the second layer on this one, because this one's probably dried by now. Yeah, after... Don't try to cover all the white with your first layer. Like, it's kind of just not necessary, because by the time you get to your second layer, the second layer will cover a lot of the white. Like, the first layer, you just kind of need it to stick and set a base, but... Yeah, so just don't clump on a ton of paint saying, oh, it's not covered, because that's what the other layers are for. Just that first layer, you just need to get down. And just get it started. It's so hard for me to stay in the camera and paint while staying in the camera. I thought about trying to get... Actually, I've been trying to do this a long time. I've been trying to figure out a way to get, like, a an arm that can, like, do a straight top-down view, and that would be great, but I just can't figure out a way to make it work. Like, I just need a top-down view, but I'm not that smart. Alright, so, while these are drying, I guess I'll just paint the back of the other ones. Normally I would just wait for these two to dry, and then I would paint the black rim. Okay, this is fine. So I'm gonna switch to the other one of these. And this is gonna be the same exact deal. We're gonna just paint the back of this first because why not? So same as before, we just need it to be black so it doesn't reflect as much light, and you don't want to clump it on too thick, which is really tempting, I know, because you want to cover up all that, but you need to make sure that the holes don't get blocked. So just gonna gently just kind of paint over. Then I'll let it dry a little bit, probably. I mean, I should let it dry, but I never do. Painting the back is harder for me because I want to paint the whole thing at once, which means I have to, like, touch it to hold it down. Like, at least with this red one, I can, like, put my thumb in the middle and hold it down, but the one where I'm painting all the back, it's like I gotta... where do we grab, you know? You've been messing with alcohol markers? What are those like? I don't even know. I feel like I probably even have some, but I have no idea what they're like. Are those like thick boys? Like those super thick markers? I don't really know what they do either. I need a refresher, I think. I need to go back to Art 101. Alright, even though I said I was gonna let this dry, I'm really just not. Sorry. I should let it dry. There we go. So the second pass around is already doing much better. Of course, I was blocking it with my hand. That's good. I'm sorry. It's hard to paint in the camera. There we go. That's satisfying. Yep, so just taking it easy. Usually I'll put on some nice, like, calming music when I do this. I can't watch TV when I'm doing this because it doesn't matter what show it is, it could be the most calm thing ever. And you need something really calm, and I just put on some, like, classical music or something if I need something in the background, because anything else will pressure me to go faster, and going fast and clumping on lots of paint is not what you want to do here. You want to take your time and just slowly layer it up. So, yeah, that's why I usually listen to something really just calming when I do this, so that I don't ramp myself up. Because I can't tell you how many eyes I've just, like, completely put way too much paint, and then I was just like, you know what, this is kind of a lost cause. Because if you do it wrong, and you have every single hole covered, thick, like, paint in every single hole, that means you're gonna have to take a needle and go through every hole. Do you know how long that takes? A long, long time. It would literally be faster to just do a new eye than it would to take a needle and go through every single hole. Alright, so you can still see that it's kind of a tiny bit splotchy, just a little bit in certain areas, and that's fine. We need the paint to fully dry so that I can do another layer. Otherwise, if I paint it more, it'll just rip off the paint that I've already painted on, and that's not going to do us any good. It's kind of like painting. You have to blend. Oh, interesting. They're expensive to get good ones. That sounds about right. You can get them at your job. I got mine at Joann's. You know what? Like, what? You'd think working there I would, like, have seen them or more often or something. Alcohol marker. You know, I don't know. I'm sure you can get them there. I've never seen them. It must not be, like, a very super popular thing. Literally no one has ever asked me
for alcohol markers before. Out of all the questions I get every day. Alrighty. So yeah, now I'm painting the back of the one that we actually started that was red on the front. So that's nice. We're gonna have at least this one done by the end of the stream, hopefully. I'm hoping to have at least one done, because I do gotta at least have one good one to show you guys, like the final one. I think it would take too long to paint all 4 sets. Like, well, not... Okay, 2 sets. Paint all 2 sets. That's like 4 eyes. I think it would take too long to do that on the stream. But... I mean, I guess I could. It would just take me a while. Also at risk of repeating myself, because... boy, gee, I do like to do that. I've noticed. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever used alcohol markers. I don't know what that would be like. Sounds kind of weird. Sounds cool. But yeah, it also does sound expensive. There's a lot of art supplies that are really cool like that are just too expensive. And it's sad. Alright, so another thing is, if you put too much paint, then you flip it over, you might see it bleeding through. And it's bleeding through. And that would be because I was trying to go a little faster, because my time limit's almost up. And that's not good, so don't rush yourself. So I'm kind of... You can kind of like wipe it a little bit off with your fingers, and no problem. It's not actually really a problem unless it's a lot of paint. You just put another layer of red, which I was going to do anyways, to cover it up. And then you're all good. True. There's a lot more drawing supplies at, Michael's, I've noticed. Like, they have a whole aisle or 2 of drawing supplies. I don't really have that as much. Yes, Clover, wait for it to fully dry. I don't wanna! I'm so impatient. Alright. See, here's the red one that we had. I didn't paint the back on this one. That's fine. We'll do it later. Let's do the gradient part. So, to do this, usually what I do is I start off with this color that we had before, and I just kind of steal some of it and put it into a new bucket. There we go. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see, but if I move the camera again, then I'm just going to have to move it again and again. And there's no winning here. Okay. So, this is the same color right now. I'm going to make it slightly darker. That's just having a slight gradient. It doesn't even matter what color to what color. I mean, you could have it like a green to a blue or a yellow or orange or something. But, like, at the very least, just having the one color to a slightly different shade of the same color, it just adds that visual interest, which is much more fun to look at. Alright, so this is the slightly darker shade. So now, something I want to mention is the eye goes one way, and you want to make sure that the mesh isn't like tilted weird or something. I want the bottom of the eye to be like right here, if the mesh is nice and straight. You don't want the bottom of the eye to be like at an angle, like a 45, like see how the mesh is tilted? You don't want that. Make the mesh nice and straight. Make this the bottom and this the top. Alright, so I'm just gonna go along the bottom here. I don't think this is dark enough to make much of a difference. Might have to make it a little darker. That's the issue with markers, is they bleed. Darn markers! I don't think I've ever even really used markers before. For anything, really. Honestly, other than Sharpies, just to write a few things. I've never tried to, like, draw with them or color or whatever. Like, IDK if you answered my question about fursuit spray earlier. Oh, I didn't even see that. I'm so sorry. No, I didn't. I didn't even see it. Hang on. When you're spraying a head with fursuit spray, how do you make sure it doesn't get in the eyes? Neither of your suits have painted eyes. That's good that they neither have painted eyes. Well, what I like to do is I make a cover. It's like I make a perfectly shaped eye cover. It's the same exact shape as this. It's made out of fabric, and you just stick it in the head so that when you're spraying the fursuit spray, it'll go in that cover. And then when you're done, you take the covers off, and then your eyes are completely safe. So that's what I like to do, and I always send out my fursuits with a eye cover, is what I just call them. I just call them eye covers because that's what they are. So that they'll be safe from the fursuit spray. Because even though once you're done with the eyes, they should be waterproof, the thing is the alcohol is not. Like, I mean, the alcohol will wreck it anyways. So, yeah, there's really no winning with that. You just gotta be careful of it. So that's what I do. I make a cover, and I use that. I don't have one on me right now, I don't think. But yeah, I always send those out. I think that's something that fursuit makers should send out. I think it's like a courtesy thing. It's like you already have the pattern to the eye, so you might as well just quickly make up that cover. I mean, you could really use any fabric. I usually use like the quilted, it's like quilting fabric because it's kind of got like a layer of foam. It's a bit thicker, so it's nice because it kind of absorbs some of it, so it doesn't sink through. Like, obviously, if you tried to use like a spandex or something, that would not protect the eyes at all, but yeah. And you don't want to use, like, fleece. That won't work well. Oh, okay. So we've been here for a bit, and this paint is starting to dry. So what we're gonna do is... I've got this old perfume bottle. Yeah. Secret Wonderland. Anyways, just spray a few times in there. It's just water. It's not actually perfume. I've cleaned it out. It's just a spray bottle. If you wanted, you could get like any kind of spray bottle, or even like an empty fursuit spray. No, don't use that, because empty fursuit spray bottle might still have like remnants of the alcohol, and you don't want that. But that kind of bottle it's the same thing. It's just one of these little spray bottles. So this is cleaned out. It's just water in there. All right. So yeah, once it starts drying up, you put some water and you stir it around so it doesn't get jacked up. You don't want it to dry because that'll mess you up. All right, and something you might notice is if your paintbrush starts to harden a bit, you might need to kind of wipe off this section that's kind of getting hardened, because if the bristles aren't laying right, it's gonna be a problem. So I had a lot of paint kind of glopped on right here where it was starting to harden, so I just wiped that off. So we're kind of back at square one with our brush, which is good. Now it's like bending properly and stuff. It wasn't doing that a minute ago. Alright, so I'm gonna do one more final layer up here. And I think I might actually add like another light layer on top. Like, because at the bottom I have like this darker layer. I'm not great at painting, but I definitely can get by. So right now I'm just trying to blend like that darker shade with the lighter shade, and it's mostly working. I know it looks kind of not great because we haven't painted the black in yet, and it just looks not good, but we're doing good. We're doing good. Speaking of role plays, I'm supposed to be doing D&D right now. Oops. That was kind of... It's something that we don't get to do a lot, ever. So, the fact that I'm kind of not there right now, I feel really bad. I love these colors, because right now it's giving me a vibe of Shadow the Hedgehog, and I'm into that. So that's pretty cool. Alright, yeah, so I'm just lightly putting a tiny bit on this like midsection to try to blend it a little. It looks good to me. Make sure none of the white is showing, of course. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I do need to wait for it to dry. Once it dries, we'll put on the black layer. We'll put in the black ring in the middle, and that will really make it look nice. And that's what I have this for. I believe it's this one. I've got this ring cut out. Yeah, right here. Okay. So, if ahead of time you find this, you get one of these or find something circular to trace ahead of time, figure out what size you want this black ring to be in the inside, so that when you're ready, you just put this white. I mean, this is just a piece of cardstock. You just put the cardstock on, and then you can just paint the black right in there, and it's perfect. You don't even have to try. So, just making yourself those little patterns ahead of time, it really helps out a lot. Including, this is like the little eye shine, like the white. Same thing, yeah. Then why aren't you leaving, you goof? I really have to finish this. I have to finish at least one. How is it 1 a.m. already? I forgot, you're on the other side of the world, Lulu. Dang, what did the perfume smell like? Well, it was Secret Wonderland. I don't know. It smells like me being a teenager, because that's when I used it. When I first started using this for just spray for painting, it did still smell like the perfume, but that was a long time ago. Tukami's gonna be your first suit with painted eyes, so you're worried. Oh, yeah. Well, that's gonna be good. I'm so excited, oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, this one's getting hardened up too. Actually, this one might be beyond, but I'll try to save it. Spray some water in there and hope for the best. Also, you don't want your brushes to dry up either, so that's another reason. If you keep the paint wet and keep stirring it, it'll help to keep the brush a little wet, but yeah. Okay, Lulu, that's alright. It is really late for you, I'm sorry. Thank you for hanging out. I wish I was wearing shorts right now. I'm wearing long pants, but like then I realized it was hot, so they're rolled up. So instead of just being smart about it and just like wearing shorts, I'm just like, nah, this is fine. Alright, so this back layer, this one really needs a second layer of paint, but instead of that, we're gonna do the ring on this one now. Okay, so I already did make this pattern. It's awesome, very helpful. Important to get it right in the center, though. I believe that's right here. I hope so. Alright, so once you got that on there, you want to hold it down tightly. The camera's not in the best spot, is it? I'm trying, I'm sorry. Alright. And same as before, just kind of lightly paint it. And this will really help you get that straight line. I don't have problems painting a near perfect circle, but to make an actual perfect circle, this will help you a lot. But yeah, Della, that was a really good question. Like, how do you keep your eyes from melting? It's a really good plan. It's good to be planning ahead. Like, you're so pumped for Tokami. Eee! I hope so. The one thing I'm worried about is the hair. I'm just hoping I can make the hair look good to your liking enough. Cause that hair is just styling, and I don't know if I can match that just because of the way the gradient is, but I can try. I will definitely try. I don't have problems painting a near perfect circle. Wizard! Witchcraft! Yeah, all I can say is I'm really glad that I have this pattern. I think it helps a lot. Okay, I need this to dry now, so I'm gonna take it off. Oh, it's stuck. There we go. Alright, so as you can see, it's not perfectly centered. It's actually okay. It's very close, and that's good enough. Because, again, it's not... We do have a little bit of wiggle room when we put it in there. It's a little bit larger than it needs to be, just a little bit, so it's okay. We're gonna be able to move it around. Okay, so while this dries, I'm gonna do the other one. I'll try once again to get it centered, but it didn't really work last time. I mean, it was close enough, though. Close enough. Okay. I know, thank you. I'm sorry, I know. I gotta get going. It shouldn't be that much longer, but you guys can start without me. I don't like not finishing a project. So when you're working on the eyes, I highly suggest you do them together like I've been doing. Don't do one to completion and then do the others. Because it will not turn out the same. It's in my experience, the easiest is just to go like a production line, you know, to do the same steps on all of them all at once and then move on to the next section. Which I'm kind of breaking that rule because when I paint the spare eyes in a few minutes off stream, I'm gonna have to basically start over, but like, you know, it's a unique case where I'm streaming and I'm trying to not do 4 sets of the same thing. Okay, so there we go. I'm thinking I might try another shade. Oh, only 2 people there now? Anyways, okay, that's good. If you need to start, go ahead and start without me, because it might be a minute, because I would like to finish this first. Della says, the way you draw your hair is just with the black and blue right up against each other, like no gradient or anything like that. You're right. You're right, actually. Now that you mention it. But it is still gonna be a challenge in fursuit terms. I have a plan, though. I do have a plan, and we're gonna try it, and I think it could work. Alright, I'm actually gonna need more black paint. I'm out. These are my paints from college, by the way. These big paints. Paints just last forever, at least for me. I've got whole buckets of paint, and it's just... They never leave. They're here forever. Alright, I'm actually not gonna use the blockade mesh thingy that I was using before because I don't really need it personally. I just was using it to get me that original perfect circle. As long as I'm careful and I go around the circle, it will be fine. So I just gotta get that second layer of black in here. There we go. Sorry, I'm kind of focusing on this one. This part is one of the more focus-heavy parts. Like, when you're just starting, it's like, wee! But when you get to this black line, if you mess up, it's gonna be a lot of back-treading, because you're gonna have to, like, get out the red paint again, and then, like, probably do 2 layers to cover the black, and it's like, yeah, you can fix it, but it's just a pain. So when you get to this part, be very slow, very cautious, just do it right the first time. Okay. Cool. So there's the one. I didn't paint the back of this one, but that's okay, I'll do it later. And I did one layer of black on the back of this one. But I'm gonna do the front again. I'm sorry, from college? Yeah! Yes! These paints! I've had these paints from college. I mean, I had to take a lot of different kinds of art classes throughout college, including some painting ones, and I hate painting. I really don't like painting. But, yeah, I had to get some paints, and they just never end. They're like never-ending tubes. So there's that. I don't even remember the last time I used up a jar of paint. A little bit right here. There we go. Okay. So now I do have to give these to a hot second so they can dry, and then we will get the eye shine on there. So we will paint. We'll put this over it, and we'll paint the white in there. Gotta make sure that it's right side up, of course. So we'll put the top here, and then maybe the bottom down here. So I'm gonna move these aside. I'm gonna paint the back of this black one again, just because what else am I gonna do when the other ones are drying? So yeah, college seems like an eternity away now. I can't help it. Every time I get on stream, I'm like, whoa, when I was back in my prime, when I was in college. Oh, it would be great if I could stop talking about it for 2 seconds, wouldn't it? Yeah, while I'm at it, I've got all this eye stuff out. I am gonna be repainting some eyes for Figby because his got all warped over time just because they were that buckram, that really tightly woven buckram, and frankly, I just couldn't. You can't see out of it very well because it's a tightly woven one, and that means like the holes are very tiny. And I mean, if you can't see out of it and it's kind of getting warped because it's buckram, like, you know, what's the point? I've got all this eye stuff out anyways. I might as well fix my eyes. Of course, I'm not going to paint myself an extra spare set of eyes. I don't really need it. I'll just... By the time I need new eyes, I'm going to be ready for Figby 2.0, I'm sure. Alright. This should be dry by now. Okay, so first things first. Identify the bottom of the eye, which is this side. Ah, man. Well, I thought we were good, but I still see some white in here. So I'm going to have to go over it again. One more layer of black. Can't have none of that splotchiness. I always wondered if people were able to like use inkjet printers to like print on buckram, because it kind of looks like people have tried that before. Like, I don't know, would that wreck your printer? I mean, maybe if you tape a piece of buckram to like a sheet of paper and label it as like something thick like cardstock, maybe it would work. Just something I've always wondered, I don't know. I like having you talk about the same stuff. That sounds so boring to me. I don't understand. I feel like I would bore people from talking about anything, really. It's just amazing to me that anyone would want to hang out with me while I'm painting some fursuit eyes, you know? Like, it's kind of a miracle if you think about it. Okay. So these guys are good. Gonna have to wait for them to dry again, of course. Great! But then we'll... Oh, this one's getting dry. Okay, well, that's fine. Perfume to the rescue. Wonder how long I have to wait for it to dry. Oh, this one might be beyond safe. No, it's coming back. It's coming back. It would be good if it didn't dry up, because I still have 2 more eyes to paint with this color, so... Anyways, when I'm done, usually I'll take the 2 best looking ones, and I'll insert those in the fursuit, and then the other 2 are the spare ones. I mean, they're all basically the same, but, you know, me with my, like, my eye, I'm looking at it, like, so close, like, which one of you is the least perfect? And those are the ones that I put as the spare eyes, because you might not even ever use them. But, yeah. Literally just drawing and listening to you hanging out. Yeah! That was the original intention. I mean, that's the main reason I just started streaming, was just to do a hangout with people. That makes me happy that you want to do that. Because that was the intention, is for other people to be working on their stuff, and I can work on my stuff, and just hang out. Yee! Clover happy now. Is this dry enough yet? It's still wet, I see. I should have put it in front of the fan. Maybe I'll just hold it here for a few seconds. What are you drawing? Oh, by the way, this blue cardstock papery thing, it's just a poster board from the dollar store. Those they're perfect for this. Like, I don't like to use... Oh, hey! How you doing? I don't like to use newspaper because it the newsprint tends to stick to the paint and it's like it doesn't lay flat, and I like the dollar store, these big old dollar store cardstock poster boards. Those work really well for me. Alright, so now, determine the bottom edge. I know it's getting a little bit hard to see with all this paint on the cardstock, but I keep calling it cardstock. It's just poster board. It's kind of the same thing. Now I need a new cup for white. We're not gonna need a lot of white, but you know, it's... come on. Okay, so this white is kind of thick. I might need to water it down a little bit. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. No, it's fine. It's fine. I was just worried. It's fine. I was worried it was just gonna be clump. If it's clumpy, that's a whole new trouble. Alrighty. So now I've got to choose which side of the eye I want the big shine on. And make sure that your eye is completely, like, straight. Like, you don't want it to be at an angle. Okay. So in this case, this is one spot that is actually okay, and I recommend to actually try to fill in those holes. Because, in my opinion, it looks better when the white is blocked. And to do that, I probably should have made the paint a little bit wetter. Oops. Okay. So I did not fill in the holes on the white here. And that's okay. That's just because the paint doesn't want to right now, so I'll do it on another pass. I'll add some water and make it a little bit drippier, and then it'll go through. This is not a great paintbrush that I'm using right now. I'm struggling a bit. It's not... Oh, you listen to me! I'm the boss. Okay. So there we go. We've got these two eye shines. I think that maybe I should make the one a little bit bigger. It's kind of hard to say. Let's hold it up to the eye. And we're a little bit close. Let me move the camera back. Camera. Always fighting with the camera. Okay. There we go. Light! Give me light! Okay, so I can see that with this eye I did come a little bit close to the edges here. In the future, I would probably like to have the eyes slightly less dilated so we get more of the red and less of the black. And also the white is a little bit close to the edge here. And this is, because it's not perfect, likely this is just my test one. I'm probably not even going to keep these because it's not perfect, and I only keep perfect, so, that's fine. It was a good test run. I got the right shades of red, I think. I just didn't get enough red in there, so that's fine. And so the back looks like this. Like, it kind of overhangs over the circle so that you can glue it. So that's what you would do, is line it up in your head and in the fursuit head, this eye. And it's not going to be completely straight. It's whatever angle it is. Make sure you know the angle of your eye, because if it's downwards like this, and you put the mesh in the wrong way, it'll look really silly. So make sure you put this in your head and know the exact angle of the eye. My eye in the head is about this angle. And so from there, you straighten it up. Because if you had it, if your eye was actually at like this angle, then that will make your mesh completely facing the wrong direction. So know the angle of your eye, then put your mesh on there, flip it over, get some hot glue, and go around the edge here. And it's okay if it bleeds through a little bit on the edges here, but you do not want it to bleed through and be seen on this side. So just use the edges to hold on the eye with the hot glue. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to repaint these, unfortunately, because the eye's too dilated for my liking. It's just a little bit too big. But yeah, you can go crazy with these. Different shade, like different gradients, different shades. Probably gonna make it a bit more bright of a red too, to fade into the darker red. Just cause it's not bright enough for my liking either. So yeah, you expect to do at least one test one. Usually, I'm like, alright, I got it this time, I got it, and I always do the first one wrong, so you will waste some mesh, you will waste some paint, but you're having fun and it'll end up being nice anyways. So yeah, that's that, I guess. Yeah, and this shine I think should be a lot bigger than this one. They're kind of the same size right now, so I'm gonna make like a slightly larger cutout and put here to make it slightly bigger, because this one's a little bit small. Okay, now go see your friends. Yeah, I gotta go play D&D. They're waiting for me. The only other thing I want to add last is there's something about eyes that I want to teach you that you may or may not know. I need a pen. If you draw a lot, you probably already know this, but the shine in the eyes, like this, is a light source. It's as if something, you have a light and that's just reflecting off. So basically, unless you have two different lights coming from two different directions, your eye shine is usually going to be on the same side. Alright, pardon this mess of a really quick sketch, but... So your eye shine should be on the same side here. Because that's where the lighting is coming from, one of the directions. So if you have eyes like this, give me just a second. Like at first glance it looks fine, but like if the eye shines are on opposite sides, you realize it's kind of got like this dur look, you know? So, well, technically it's fine to do with like the eye shine on both sides if you have that light source coming from both sides. For the most part, you're gonna want to put the eye shine on the same side like this. I'll draw one more set so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Hopefully that makes sense, but keep that in mind when you're painting your eyes. Like, you're gonna want that shine to be on the same side most of the time. So here's, I mean, maybe it's a cute look or something. I don't really know. Maybe people do it on purpose. But this is like when it's on the same side. That's what I would do. And this is when it's on the opposite side. And I don't know why it looks kind of cute here, but most of the time it just kind of gives you like a durer look. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. Whether you want to do that intentionally or not. And it can be done right. I've seen it done right, I think. I've seen it done before where I didn't hate it, so. Okay, so that's all my tips for this. Probably gonna paint some off stream now, but yeah, I do have to get going. So next time I see you guys, I'll have this glued on and I'll stick it in the head, but I'm not gonna put the eye in yet. Like this, the whole eye structure is not gonna be in the head yet, but I will stick it in there so you can see what it'll look like. Because we gotta get the eyelids done. So, yep, I think we're good. Thank you for hanging out with me, everybody, and sorry I gotta go. But we did do some painting, and it was fun. Wow, I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys had fun, too. And that is all. Okay, bye! my mouse isn't plugged in. Hang on. End stream. Okay. Bye.